Stop scrolling. Yes, I'm serious. But you don't need to yell at your kids. You don't need to unplug your Wi-Fi. You don't need to tell your dog to stop barking. He wouldn't listen anyway. All I'm asking for is a few minutes of attention, because what you're about to hear will blow your mind. Ladies and gentlemen, this is John Bacon's The Real Asian Guy here. It has officially begun. The silence was broken late last night, not by a whistleblower on Twitter, but by a secured document leak that has landed on desks from Zurich to Shanghai. If you're sitting on a stack of physical silver, the information I'm about to give you will validate every single ounce you have bought over the last 10 years. If you're still sitting in fiat currency, this is your final warning. We have received credible intelligence regarding a classified contingency plan currently being drafted by the Federal Reserve and the U.S. Treasury. The document is internally referred to as Project Gray Ice. The date attached to the activation of this protocol is March 15th, 2026. This is not a drill. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is the blueprint for the demonetization of the retail silver market and the nationalization of strategic resources. The Fed knows what we know. The physical vault is empty. The COMEX is a zombie. And the industrial demand from the green energy transition is about to break the banking system in half. Project Gray Ice is the emergency brake. It is the kill switch we have warned you about. The leak suggests that in March 2026, the Federal Reserve, in coordination with the Department of Defense, plans to declare silver a strategic critical material under an expanded version of the Defense Production Act. Why March 2026? Because that is the mathematical event horizon. That is the date when the Basel III net stable funding ratio, NSFR requirements, fully tighten the noose on the London bullion banks. And simultaneously, it is the delivery month where the open interest in the silver futures market exceeds the registered inventory by a factor of 400 to 1. The Fed has run the simulations. They know the default is coming. They know that on the current trajectory, the price of silver will not just go to $100, it will go vertical to a level that bankrupts the bullion banks and freezes the supply chain for Tomahawk missiles and solar panels. So they are planning to intervene. The leak outlines a plan to stabilize the price. In Fed speak, stabilize means suppress. They plan to flood the market with paper contracts backed by the U.S. Treasury itself, effectively acting as the short seller of last resort. But here's the terrifying part. They plan to couple this with a restriction on retail hoarding. The document uses the phrase anti-speculative inventory controls. This is bureaucratic language for confiscation of the supply chain. It means that refineries will be ordered to prioritize strategic industrial partners, Tesla, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, over you, the retail investor. The window to accumulate is closing. The unobtainium phase is not just a market phenomenon anymore. It is becoming government policy. When they flip the switch in March 2026, the silver market will cease to exist. It will be replaced by a two-tier system, one price for the military-industrial complex and one price for the black market. And I promise you, you do not want to be holding paper contracts when Project Gray Ice goes live. You want the metal in your hand, off the grid, and out of their reach. To understand why the Fed is panicking, we have to dissect the trigger event. Why March 2026? Why not now? Because March 2026 is when the solar coffin slams shut. We have been tracking the industrial consumption rates of the new TOPCon solar panels. These panels use 50% more silver than the old PERC technology. The mainstream analysts are still using 2023 consumption models. They are wrong. The demand is exponential, not linear. By March 2026, the cumulative deficit in the silver market, the gap between what we mine and what we use, will hit 1.5 billion ounces. That is equivalent to 2 years of global mining production, completely erased from the ledger. The above-ground stockpiles, the silver sitting in vaults in London and New York, are currently being drawn down at a rate of 20 million ounces a month. Do the math. By March 2026, the registered category at the COMEX, the silver available for delivery, will hit zero. Not low, zero. This is the singularity. The Fed's internal models show that when inventory hits zero, the price mechanism breaks. In a free market, the price would go to infinity to incentivize sellers. But the Fed cannot allow $500 silver. Why? Inflation optics. $500 silver signals the death of the dollar. It creates a panic out of fiat currency. Banking insolvency. The bullion banks, JP Morgan, Citi, are short billions of ounces in derivatives. If silver hits $500, they are insolvent. They collapse. The derivative bomb explodes. National security. The U.S. military cannot build guidance chips for missiles if they have to bid against stackers on eBay for silver coins. So the trigger is the physical default. The leak reveals that the Fed plans to preempt this default. They are not going to wait for the vaults to run dry. They are going to declare a national emergency before the 0 hour. They will cite market volatility and national security interests. They will halt trading on the COMEX. They will cash settle the existing futures contracts. If you are holding a contract promising delivery of 5,000 ounces, the Fed will forcibly settle it at a fair market value, likely capped at 50 or 60, and wire you the fiat currency. You will get your dollars. You will not get your silver. This is the trap. The March 2026 crisis is not a crash. It is a lockout. The price on the screen will be managed, but the physical metal will disappear into the strategic reserve. The Maginot line of $50 silver isn't a resistance level anymore. It's the target for the government price cap. They are building a cage for the price, and they are planning to lock us inside it with their dying currency. How will they do it? The leak gives us a terrifying glimpse into the mechanics of financial repression. We are looking at a modern-day version of Executive Order 6102, the 1933 order that confiscated gold. But they won't go door-to-door taking your silver eagles. That is too messy. That causes riots. Instead, they will seize the choke points. The silver market is tiny. It flows through a handful of major refineries and mints. The plan outlined in Project Gray Ice involves the implementation of the Defense Production Act, DPA. Under the DPA, the president can order private companies to prioritize government contracts over everything else. The Fed plans to issue priority ratings to silver users. Priority 1, defense contractors, Raytheon, Lockheed. Priority 2, critical infrastructure, green energy, medical. Priority 3, technology sector, Apple, Samsung. Priority 4, the public, you. By March 2026, the refineries will be ordered to fill priority 1 and 2 orders first. This effectively creates a shadow ban on retail bullion. The U.S. Mint will announce the temporary suspension of the American Silver Eagle program, citing supply chain constraints. They have already tested this narrative. We have seen the suspensions before. Private mints will be unable to source 1,000-ounce bars because those bars are being diverted to the strategic reserve. Simultaneously, the Fed will attack the paper market. The leak suggests the creation of a price stabilization fund. This is a pool of fiat currency printed by the Fed, used to short the silver futures market whenever it tries to break out. They will sell unlimited paper silver to cap the price. Since they control the printing press, they have infinite ammunition. They can keep the paper price at $50 forever, as long as they don't have to deliver physical metal. And since they will have halted physical delivery to the public, the COMEX becomes a paper-only casino. The connection between spot price and physical price will be severed with a surgical knife. This is the bifurcation. Spot price, $50, official, government capped. Street price, $200 plus, black market, unobtainium. You will see $50 on your screen, but you won't be able to buy an ounce for less than $200. This is the ultimate gaslighting operation. They will tell you silver is cheap while making it impossible to buy. Here is where the leak gets even more interesting. It turns out we aren't the only ones who know about this. The smart money in the industrial sector has already started preparing. The leak references anomalous inventory accumulation by major tech conglomerates. Samsung, Tesla, and the solar giants know Project Gray Ice is coming. They have high-level contacts in Washington. They know the supply chain is about to be nationalized. So what are they doing? They are panic buying now. We have tracked massive off-market transfers of silver in London and Shanghai. These are not flowing into the ETFs. They are flowing into private corporate stockpiles. Tesla isn't just building gigafactories for batteries. They are building vaults. They are securing their own strategic reserve because they know they cannot rely on the COMEX in 2026. This creates a prisoner's dilemma. If Samsung buys 50 million ounces, Apple has to buy 50 million ounces, or they risk being cut off. This competitive hoarding accelerates the timeline. It brings the crisis forward. The Fed wants to wait until March 2026, but the industrial panic might trigger the collapse in late 2025. The leak also mentions windfall profit taxes on mining companies. The government knows that silver miners are about to become the most profitable companies on Earth. Project Gray Ice includes a provision to tax excess profits from strategic resource extraction. This is designed to discourage miners from selling to the highest bidder, you, and force them to sell to the government at the capped price. The miners are trapped. If they sell to the public, they get taxed to death. If they sell to the government, they get the suppressed price. This will lead to a supply strike. Miners will simply stop mining, or they will hoard the metal in the ground. High grading will cease. They will process low-grade ore to keep the lights on and save the good stuff for when the regime collapses. This further tightens the supply, making the shortage even worse. Let's simulate what the morning of March 16, 2026 looks like if this plan is executed. You wake up, you check the news. Headline: Fed announces strategic resource stabilization measure. Headline: COMEX suspends silver delivery to calm volatility. Headline: U.S. Mint halts Silver Eagle sales indefinitely. You check the price. Spot silver is frozen at $55. The chart is a flat line. You rush to your favorite online bullion dealer. Site under maintenance. You check another one. Sold out. You check eBay. Listings are being pulled down. Panic is setting in. A few listings remain. One Oz Silver Eagle, $250. You try to buy it. It's gone before you can click. This is the unobtainium phase. Your fiat currency is useless. It doesn't matter if you have $10,000 in your bank account. You cannot convert it into silver. The bridge is burned. The black market emerges instantly. Local coin shops become speakeasies. Deals are done in cash, baccalais, encrypted messaging apps. The premium goes from 20% to 400%. Silver is no longer just an investment. It is contraband. It is a strategic asset that the government wants, industry needs, and you are holding. This is why we stack. We don't stack to sell for more dollars. We stack to have a seat at the table when the music stops. When Project Gray Ice goes live, the only people who will own silver are the ones who already own it. There will be no buying the dip. There will be no waiting for a pullback. The door will be welded shut. The gamma trap we talk about in the options market, that is child's play compared to this. This is a sovereign trap. The government is trapping the physical metal within the borders to save the empire, and they will sacrifice the retail investor without blinking. So, now that you have the leak, now that you see the blueprint, what is the counter move? How do we survive Project Gray Ice? Step 1, get physical now. Paper promises are the first casualty of this war. If you own SLV, if you own unallocated pool accounts, if you own futures contracts, get out. Convert it to physical metal immediately. If you cannot hold it, you do not own it. In March 2026, a paper claim on silver will be settled in worthless dollars. A physical ounce will be priceless. Step 2, the miner pivot. Jurisdiction matters. The government will tax the miners, yes, but they cannot tax the value of the reserves in the ground. We need to own miners in safe jurisdictions. Avoid countries with a history of nationalization. Look for miners with streaming deals that are already locked in. When the price bifurcation happens, the mining stocks will eventually price in the real street price, not the fake Fed price. The dividends alone will be life-changing. Step 3, the ratio exit. We must watch the gold to silver ratio. When the crisis hits, silver will outperform gold because of the industrial shortage. Gold is money, but silver is strategic money. The ratio will crash from 80 to 30, maybe even 15. When it hits 15, we execute the swap. We trade the strategic contraband, silver, for the tier 1 reserve asset, gold. Gold is harder to confiscate industrially. It is wealth storage. We use the silver squeeze to multiply our gold stack. Step 4, silence. When Project Gray Ice activates, do not brag about your stack. Do not post pictures on social media. Be the gray man. If silver becomes a restricted strategic asset, you do not want to be on a list of known hoarders. Keep your stack private. Keep it secure. The conclusion. The leak of Project Gray Ice is the most bullish signal imaginable. It proves that the Fed is terrified. It proves that the shortage is terminal. It proves that silver is the Achilles heel of the entire global financial system. They are planning to change the rules because they know they have lost the game. But they can't print silver. They can only print laws. And laws cannot violate the laws of physics. The shortage will win. The price will break. The dam will burst. You have the intel. You have the timeline. March 2026 is the deadline. But the panic could start tomorrow. Stack accordingly. Subscribe to the channel. We will be releasing updates on Project Gray Ice as more documents leak. We are the Watchtower. We are the Resistance. Hold the line. Class dismissed.